Dating and relationships coach Matt Adams here, and I had someone write in with a question, and I want to read you the mail that I got and then answer the question. It says, Matt, I am seeing all of these challenges that I have, which is good because I can change when I see them and when I'm aware of them. But how can I feel good about myself with so many issues? I am ambivalent right now. I am happy I can see them, and part of that is because of you. Thank you. But I can see that I'm a weirdo with anxiety. How can I love myself with warts and all? This stuff is hard. You have to face your demons to grow, and that's not easy at all. It's painful. So, how do you feel good about yourself when you have a lot of challenges to work through, when you have issues? And how can you love yourself no matter what? So, part of what you need to do is understand that you have these challenges in your life because at some point and when I say challenges, this has to do with anxiety and overthinking and not being able to trust are some of the things that this person is dealing with specifically. So when I say challenges, that's what I'm referring to. How do I love myself with these challenges? Well, you have to understand that part of the reason these things exist for you is that you created them at some point in your past as a barrier of protection. Something was going on in your life, and in order for you to deal with it, you needed a defense mechanism. And even though that is causing an issue for you now, it was created at some point to protect you from something. So when you think about it that way, it's easy to send that part of you love and say, oh, anxiety, I know at one point in my past you were protecting me, and I love you for that. And you have to look back on yourself. You have to envision yourself when you created that. So go back to the time where you created these challenges, whether it was being mistrusting of someone or not being able to trust someone. If you made the decision to not trust someone, that was to protect you, because trusting them was more painful than not trusting them. So think about that situation in your life. Think about when you created. Go back to that time when you created that. And think about what happened right before you created that. What was going on in your life? Did you just discover that someone who you thought was telling the truth had lied to you? What was going on? What happened? And you have to love who you were at the moment that you created that. You have to love yourself for creating the issue of mistrust to protect you from being harmed. When you are able to get in touch with that and you are able to send that part love, everything changes. When you're able to accept yourself for who and what you created yourself to be, and you understand why you created that, then it's easier to say and recognize. First off, it's easier to recognize when that issue comes up now, when that decision that you made so long ago to protect yourself from being harmed. when that comes up for you, it's easy to say, I recognize this. And I also know that this doesn't serve me at this point in my life. And you can love yourself in the now. And you can love yourself in the past too. So just know that what you're going through now is a result of protecting yourself from harm earlier on in your life. And if it's anxiety, it's the same thing. Well, when was the first time you experienced this anxiety? Go back and think about the first time that you experienced this, and then think about what was going on for you. Think about what happened right before that. What was going on? Were your parents yelling at you? Was a family member yelling at you? Were you watching your parents fight? Did your dad leave? Did your mom leave? Did someone completely abandon you in your life? Were you being yelled at and you didn't know what to do? You didn't know how to respond? You didn't know what to say? You didn't know what to do? What was going on in the moment where that got created? And then realize that that part of you was created to protect you. And send yourself, this past version of yourself, the love that they needed in that moment. The love that you needed in that moment. You see, those things were created because in that moment you were lacking love from the important person in your life. And so when you go back, when you love yourself, and you give yourself the love that you needed at that moment, again, things will change. You will start to heal that past wound. And just continue to send that part of you love. Whenever you notice this come up for you, whatever challenge or issue that you're dealing with, you continue to send that part of you love. That version of you that existed way back then. Just continue to send that part of you love. And realize you didn't really do anything wrong. The only thing for you then was you didn't know how to respond. And you had to create something. It may not have been perfect. It may not work for you now. It may not have worked for you then either. But it was something. And just love yourself. I did this over the summer. I sent a part of myself love. And I had all of these instances where I could see myself in that role with that issue over and over and over again. And I started to send those parts of me love. I started to realize that the symptoms that I was experiencing over the summer and for the past few years were really just symptoms of something I had created very early on in my life. And I think from the time that I had a conversation with someone about this, and they told me to love myself much in the way that I'm communicating it to you right now in this video, they said, if you do this, things will start to change. And, I spent the time, I laid down on my bed before I went to sleep. I envisioned those times when I needed love the most, and I sent myself some love. And 3 months later, tops, things changed for me in a very, very big way. I did not have the same pattern of thinking when something came up. I started to do new things that broke me out of the circle. And I was able to create a very, very different result for myself in my life. Something that was drastically different in my life and actually helped change my life quite a bit. So that's how you love yourself. That's how you accept yourself. And that's the work that you do, the thing to practice, the visioning, the sending love. That's the process you can utilize to change your life. And if you practice that, I guarantee you, things will change for you too. So hope you enjoyed the video. Matt Adams here, signing off.